can I share about season 3, just in general?
Yeah.
I think we're going to come into the season and we're going to see our family as divided as we've ever seen them. You know, Klaus and Elijah, there's this great rift because of the murder of Gia and because of what Klaus did to Haley. And so the brothers are in a terrible place. Rebecca is gone. Freya is the new family member who's come in, and she's trying to make something out of this family that she's always wanted to have. Marcel is the king of the vampires of New Orleans once again. And Davina has taken over as regent to the New Orleans covens. But everybody is divided. Everybody has a different kind of goal in mind. And into that very divided world, we have some new people arriving. And these new people are going to be the first vampires who were ever sired. And if you think about it, somewhere along the way, Klaus turned somebody into a vampire. Elijah turned somebody into a vampire. Rebecca turned somebody into a vampire. And they were the first vampires ever sired. So in flashback, we will see the first time someone became a vampire and how the originals learned that that was something that can happen. And we're also going to see what perspective these vampires have, knowing that if one of the originals dies, an entire sire line will die. So if you are a 999-year-old vampire and you are happy to be immortal and ancient and living as far away from the originals as possible, the only people that can compel you, you know, the only people stronger than you, more scary than you, you're ancient and you like to be immortal, but you know that, you know, Michael came to town and almost killed Klaus. Esther's plan was to put her children in another body and to kill the original bodies, thus wiping out vampires forever. Dahlia almost killed them in that final episode. So when Cole died, when Finn died, we realized that an entire sire line can die. And we just spent a season telling stories where the originals almost died. So all of these vampires who are the first sired vampires in history, they have a definitive perspective on the survival of the originals, and maybe they have their own feelings about what should happen to the originals to prevent their own deaths. And so that's one of the big, you know, conflicts of our season. What do these vampires who we are meeting for the first time feel about the originals? Are they hateful, angry? Do they want to put them down and bury them in the ocean? Do they want to kill them, thus wiping out another sire line and thus removing some competition? You know, so there's all these different ideas to explore. But we're going to see some very interesting characters who are that next generation behind the originals, the first generation of vampires after the Michelsons, and that's what. So you could tell we're doubling down on this is a vampire show. So young, powerful, beautiful, immortal people are coming to town with a definite agenda, and that's what the show's about.
Are you downplaying Baby House in the season?
Well, she definitely has a place. We feel like she took center stage as the thing that Dahlia wanted, and she is a witch by descent. You know, she is the descendant of witches. She's the firstborn Michelson witch of her generation, and as such, there's something about her that's very special. She's got werewolf genes. She's got her father's vampire blood in her system, which heals her from any wound. And if she were to die, she would become a vampire. We're not planning on telling that story, but for right now, this is going to be a return to a vampire story, and so Baby Hope will be certainly a part of it. And I think the question is, how do Haley and Klaus reconcile their conflict, given that, you know, their child needs to have her parents defending her and protecting her and just being her parents. So that part of it will be the focus of, you know, Klaus and Haley as parents and how they can come to terms with their differences and be good parents for that baby, as opposed to really diving into the witch stuff, which we will return to someday.